Today I'm removing and reseating the injectors on the 3 litre V6 TDI VAG engine. So this particular one is the CRCA, and it will be in many of the Audis and Porsche Cayenne as well. Basically, the issue I'm having is the injectors are in the head, so they're actually, the seats are within the rocker cover, and if they leak, they pressurise the crankcase or the rocker, and this causes diesel fumes or diesel vapours to be present in the crankcase, and if you open the oil filler, you'll see the fumes come out. And also, because of the pressurising, it can cause oil to leak where it otherwise wouldn't. So there is a small oil leak at the back of the engine. I can't remember exactly where it is that it leaks from, but every so often it leaks down onto the exhaust, and apparently this is usually due to the injectors leaking. A few months ago I actually already did the ones on the right hand side of the engine, so today I'm going to be doing the ones on the left hand side, which are a little bit more concealed by the airbox. You could probably do it without removing the airbox, but I'll probably just get it out of the way anyway. We've got a clip holding this air pipe here, and a bolt here for the airbox, hoping that's not too difficult to remove. Ready for the job, I've got a injector washer remover, got a injector seat cutter. I'm not necessarily scraping loads of metal off, but I just want them to be clean, so it does help to use these to scrape off any debris where they've been leaking in the past and they're all coked up. And then I've got these new seal kits. Well, I've got one seal kit because I bought these from GSF and then for some reason they couldn't supply them again. So that's a complete kit. The injector has an O-ring halfway up. And another thing to note is the washers have a chamfer on them on the bottom side, which I did find when removing one of the injectors from the right hand side, that someone had fitted a normal flat washer rather than one of the correct ones. There's not actually any point removing the airbox. I didn't realise how it was set up, so if I disconnect the MAF sensor and undo the clips as if we're changing the air filter, then the airbox cover comes straight out of the way and we've got plenty of room to work. So in whatever order you like, we've got the leak off pipes or diesel return. They can look difficult to remove, but you need to pull on the centre. Which pulls the centre up. And then this releases it from the injector. disconnect the connectors on all three, and we've got 17mm unions for the high pressure pipes. Sometimes if you're struggling with the connectors, if you push them down before pulling them up, this helps them release. You want to be careful not to damage them. The unions are quite close and tucked in the injector, so you want to be careful not to damage here if they go with a bit of a bang. So just bear that in mind when you're getting the spanner on there. I'm not sure whether the manufacturer would suggest replacing these high pressure pipes. I know on the Volvos they say they're not reusable, but I've always refitted them and never had any issues. I think they are all different, so it might help to put them on the table in order, although none of them fit in the wrong place, so you've only got 3 to figure out if you do mix them up. Now on each injector we've got an M8 spline bolt holding the injector clamp and clamping the injector down. I'll check what the torque figure is for these. So the figures that I've got for these bolts on refitting, it does say to use new bolts, and it says 6 Newton meters plus 90 degrees. So they must be stretch bolts. It's entirely up to you whether you fit new bolts. I aren't going to, and I didn't on the other side, and like I say, I haven't had any issues. The unions on the high pressure pipes suggest 25 Newton meters, but same again, they also suggest using new pipes. That's the injector clamp. Now, injectors, especially when they've been leaking, are very often seized in position. Sometimes you're lucky, and other times you're not. So, I've got with me a reverse hammer, which I'm going to assemble. So I've borrowed the tools that I've got here, bar my normal toolkit, are borrowed from Motec in Gould, so thanks to Jeff for letting me borrow these again. So we've got a, I don't know what the correct name for them is, but it's a sort of reverse hammer. So you assemble this, connect it to the injector using the correct fitting. Whichever one will screw on the end of the injector. So this fitting that goes on the injector, it's the only one that seems to work this way around. So normally the injectors, you'll have to take I think usually about 27mm. You have to take apart the injector in order to fit these tools. But on this one, the injector feed is central, so it makes it a lot easier for removal with the hammer. So we screw that into there, and then we screw the tool into the end of that. So normally you would screw this in, which allows the hammer to be at an angle. We don't need it on this first injector, but we may need it on the third injector to the back. So normally we'd screw this in first, and then screw the hammer into that. But because we've got a nice clear space, we can screw the tool straight into the end of the injector. Even just that screwing in seemed to loosen the injector. And then what you'll want to be aware of is whether the injector washer is still on the end of the injector. These injectors go through the rocker and they're open to to the top of the engine in this hole. So if the injector washer drops off, which it doesn't look like it has, but it also looks like another incorrect washer. So this might be why they're leaking. So the washer's still attached. And as you can see, open to the head. So if you drop a washer in there, it's going to get stuck in the engine. But it's starting to look like all these injectors have been out, and the washers that they fitted have all been incorrect. So now we'll clean off the injector. You can see that the washer's completely incorrect, no taper on it. Also missing the O-ring, which should be in this gap as far as I can remember. We'll detach the injector from the tool, and we'll move on to the second and third one. So we need this part if we can get it off. You may wish to number the injectors if you are leaving them, just so you don't get them in the wrong order. It doesn't really matter, but it does help if you have been experiencing issues not to change anything else on the vehicle when you are refitting them. Actually, I think I might get away without using the adapter on all the injectors, because there does appear to be a pretty straight line to them, just about. Got another one just come loose quite easy, so it's very fortunate. So this one, the O-ring is present, and the, once again, incorrect injector washer is on the end of the injector. So yeah, we're lucky enough that we've got a straight line to the injector. And fortunately, once again, not too stuck. I did have one on the other side that was a lot harder to get out than this, so these haven't been too bad at all compared to what you can get. So, missing the O-ring, which could have come off while we've been removing it, not likely, and another washer that I believe to be incorrect. injectors cleaned up and fit the new washers and O-rings. Remove these old washers. If you do use a screwdriver, just be careful not to damage the seat. Just trying to use a Bojo tool, but it can be difficult to get them in sometimes. Can't quite get them in. Now, without touching the end bit, clean off the seats. Putting the new seals on the injectors. Larger side onto the injector. And what I did last time, to be super sure that they don't fall into the head, is stick a bit of grease on so that if it is loose, it can't fall off. And then in the full kit, we've got a new O-ring, tiny O-ring for the leak off, which obviously I'll only be able to do on one injector. And I got these injectors, I got these O-rings, larger O-rings, because I couldn't get this kit anymore, from Yorkshire Engineering in Goole. And I'll have to check, I'll just check what size they were. I think they were something like 17mm by 1.5. I'll just check. I think they're 16 by 1.5. So new O-ring in the second space up, as far as I know, the second deep one. So actually the third. So right up here. As far as I know, that's the right position for it. And then I've got the tiny O-ring on the leak off if you do have the complete kit to replace. And make sure on these new O-rings that you put a little bit of oil or grease on them to aid refitting and sealing. So now I'm going to choose the seat cutter that closest matches the size of the injector. I think this one. Not 100%, we'll see. Seems to be alright. So, assemble this on the tool. I think we grease the tool so that any metal that comes off just sticks on. So clean it off if there is any on from the last use. Now if it's a good match to the size of the injector, it shouldn't rock around too much. So I'm not pressing too hard, just making sure that the seat is clean. Inspect the seats, that looks like a good one. And clean if necessary, but obviously use something that isn't going to get stuck in the head. I usually wrap a microfiber cloth around a screwdriver just to clean out and make sure that there's no debris on the seats. Make sure that your seats are as clean as they can be, because you don't want to be refitting them again, as injector washers are single use. New bolt if you have one. Tighten them all at the same time, focus on getting the injectors in clean. There's no need to go crazy tightening things because you can always tighten them a little bit more afterwards. Give everything a clean up because this will help determine whether there are leaks afterwards. So with everything refitted now, just check that you haven't forgotten anything. Just vision tightening everything once again. Remember that you've done it. Reconnect the MAF sensor, make sure all the pipes are connected, nothing's broken. And we can try running the car. So there will be a little bit of air in the high pressure pipes. So it may start and then cut out briefly. But it should be able to self-prime. Pretty much. Those fumes are a lot less than they were before. I'd already done this side of the engine, but now I've done both sides. I just seem to have appeared to have fixed the diesel vapour in the head. Thanks for watching. I really hope that this video has helped. If it has, please do like and subscribe. For more videos on this car and many others, please do check out my channel.